Welcome to Essential Short, where we take a look into the world of student ministry, one topic at a time. Today we're continuing in a 5-part series of myths in youth ministry culture, a research that was reported by the Barna Research Group, but outlined in David Kinnaman's book, You Lost Me. As a short recap, let's look at myth number 1. Most people lose their faith when they leave high school. The positive reality is that 90% of the youth who grew up in the Christian background remain faithful, but yet disillusioned and disconnected from the church. Myth number 2 is that dropping out of the church is just as natural and normal part of youth becoming adults. The reality is this type of thinking just ignores the millions of young people who never lose their faith or drop away from the church. Myth number 3 is that the college experience is the key factor that caused people to drop out of church. The reality is that the university or college experience is simply not the faith killer that it's been demonized to be. So with that recap, let's jump into myth number 4. This generation of young Christians are more biblically illiterate than past generations. Looking at 28 years of data regarding generational gaps in spiritual beliefs and knowledge found surprisingly few differences between Christians age 18 to 29 and their older counterparts ages 30 and up. This means that within the Christian community, the theological differences between generations are not as pronounced as we might expect. Now, young Christians lack biblical knowledge on some matters, but not significantly more so than older Christians. Instead, research showed substantial differences among those outside of Christianity. That is, older non-Christians were more familiar than young non-Christians with biblical stories and Christian theology, even if they did not personally embrace those beliefs. This finding is truly unexpected and a surprise because those of us in student ministry often hear and witness theological illiterate young Christians expressing thoughts and asking questions that seem like a downhill theological slide. But research data reveals when it comes to questions of biblical literacy, the broader culture seems to be losing its collective understanding of Christian teaching. In other words, Christianity is no longer an autopilot belief system for the nation, including its youngest citizens. Many students are more aware than ever that their peers are increasingly unfriendly or indifferent towards their Christian beliefs and commitment. As a result, this millennial generation recognizes the need to adapt in sharing their faith and reaching their ever-changing culture. This is good news for student ministry leaders because young Christians do not have to be convinced of the need to adapt. They are predisposed to be more culturally engaged in order to communicate Christianity to their peers. They feel the how and why of the gospel are deeply interconnected. Hey, the bottom line is that these are exciting and challenging days in student ministry. Like never before, we need student ministers who are committed to seeing real-life change and committing the energy and excellence in programming necessary to engage, communicate, and win a lost generation. Well, that's it for this segment of Essential Shorts. Thanks for watching, and if I can serve your ministry in any way, let me know. If you have a problem or a question concerning student ministry in your church, I'll be glad to help. Drop me a note and let me share your success story with others. And remember, what you do is of vital importance in kingdom work.